Welcome back students to our revision class. Today we will be discussing this chapter 1 and that chapter is chemical reactions and equations. We already have taken this class online. Today we are just revising it. So when we shall be revising this chapter's revision, that revision chapter of chemical equations and reactions, we will be discussing those 12 points, and these are the 12 important points which are present in the entire lesson. And those topics that we are going to discuss are: what is a chemical reaction, what is chemical equation, what is balanced chemical equation, unbalanced chemical equation or skeletal equations, then different types of chemical equations like chemical reactions, like combination reactions, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, redox reactions. And after this we shall also come to know about the exothermic and endothermic reactions, and after that finally we shall come to corrosion and finally rancidity. All these things already we have taken in our online class. So let's begin. So first, what is a chemical reaction? When the atoms or molecules, they take part in some rearrangement process, means combine two types of different atoms or two types of different molecules when combined together to make it a complete new one, then this entire process we call as chemical reaction. We can take example. For example, in chemical equations, for example, this is hydrogen. Hydrogen is a molecule, and this molecule of hydrogen is combining with another molecule, and this is oxygen. So very clearly we can see here hydrogen is a molecule, oxygen is another molecule, and these two molecules will combine together under certain terms and conditions and they will form water. So this is a chemical reaction. We can take more examples. If this carbon, this is an atom. This time earlier we have seen both are molecules taking place, but this time we have seen there is an atom, and this atom is combining with another molecule, oxygen, and this time also they will produce another compound, and that is carbon dioxide. So in this way, when the atoms or molecules combine together and they form a complete new product, we call such combination as chemical reactions. Now after coming to know this chemical reaction, we have to come directly to the chemical equation. So what is a chemical equation? So chemical equation is the representation of a chemical reaction with the help of the symbol and formula of the reactants and products. See, hydrogen, we have to write this is like the HRO, hydrogen, and it is combining with oxygen. It's combining with oxygen, and hydrogen and oxygen when combined together it makes water. It's make water. So we are just using some words, and these words if we use, then these words will never give you a complete idea how this chemical reaction is taking place. So what we will do, instead of writing hydrogen, we will use the formula of hydrogen molecule. What is the formula? Formula of hydrogen molecule is H2 plus. So this plus means it's combining with, hydrogen is combining with what? Oxygen. This oxygen is in word. We will not use that word oxygen, but we will use the symbol O2. And then this is showing they are going to form, this product is going to form. Arrow mark is indicating that it's water. So water, W-A-T-E-R, water is a word, and this word we will, that is replaced by its proper formula of water. So what is the proper formula of water? This is H2O. So hydrogen plus oxygen is forming water. In that way, you will not write in science, but we will write it like this. Hydrogen, this is, we are using the formula of hydrogen plus oxygen. It is the formula of oxygen combining together to make it water. So this water is also, we are writing it H2O, which is the formula of water molecule. So in that way, when we represent a chemical reaction with the help of the formula, then this representation is called as chemical equation. Remember, in chemical equation, we are using here in this particular example some formula, but sometimes a symbol is also used. For example, if we come to see this example, say carbon is combining with oxygen and producing carbon dioxide, then we will use C, and this type C is not the formula. Remember, it's the symbol of carbon, because it is in atom of carbon and combining with not atom but molecule, so will be O2, and this is again we are using a formula. So in this one we are getting C plus O2, that is producing carbon dioxide. It is also representation of this chemical reaction that carbon plus oxygen is producing carbon dioxide. Here we are using symbol of carbon because it is in atomic state, and oxygen we are using not the symbol but its formula because it is in molecular form, and carbon dioxide is also in molecular form. So this is how representation of this type of chemical reactions with the help of their symbols and products, symbols and formula of the reactants and products is called as a chemical equation. So we have just come to know about these two things, and these two things are what is a chemical reaction and what is a chemical equation. And now we are coming to see what is a balanced chemical equation. So let's come back directly. So going back to this previous example, hydrogen combining with oxygen and producing water molecule. If we just look at this chemical reaction and chemical equation, we have seen on the left hand side of the arrow mark these are called as reactants, and on the right hand side of the arrow mark these are called as products. Now if we see the reactants and products, we will see the same elements or same compounds are there. That is, you can say hydrogen is here, there is also hydrogen. Oxygen is there on the left hand side, that is towards the reactant side, and oxygen is also towards the product side. So same hydrogen and oxygen, they are present on the left side as well as on the right side. But the question is, how many hydrogen atoms are present here? 2 hydrogen atoms are present on the left hand side, that is towards the reactant side. And how many hydrogens are present on the right hand side? That is also 2. So number of hydrogen atoms or molecules on both the sides, that is the reactant side and product sides, are same. Okay, now come back to oxygen. How many oxygens can we see? We can see there are 2 oxygen, but on the right hand side there is only 1 oxygen. So the question arises, what happens to the oxygen atom where it is missing? This cannot occur. Why? Because during the chemical reaction, no atoms or molecules are formed, created, or neither the atoms or molecules are destroyed. The number of atoms or molecules before the chemical reaction and after the chemical reaction should remain the same. So it means that definitely there is some problem with this chemical equation, which is indicating that number of oxygen is not same on both the sides. So what is our responsibility? Our responsibility is to make them equal. But how can we make it? We can make it, there is only 1 oxygen, but there are 2 oxygen. To make it equal, we have to give it 2. So if we give it 2, then how many oxygens will be there? 2 oxygens are there, and accordingly hydrogen will be 2 into 2, total 4. So now if we just go to see how many oxygen, there are 2 oxygen, and this way also there are 2 oxygen, means the problem of oxygen is over. But if we count the number of hydrogen, there are 4, but there is 2. So the problem again starts with hydrogen. So to remove the problem, we will give another 2 here. Now if we see how many hydrogens, total 4, and there are also 4 hydrogens, oxygen 2, and there is also oxygen 2. So this is how we have made the number of atoms or molecules on both the side of the chemical equation is equal, and this process is called as balancing a chemical equation. We have taken so many examples in our online classes how to balance a chemical equation. So if we balance the chemical equation by doing this, then we call this type of chemical equations as balanced equation. But before balancing, if we write only this one, then this will definitely give us a clear idea how hydrogen and oxygen are combining together to make it water molecule. Okay, this chemical equation is also correct, but it is not balanced. If the reaction is not balanced, then such unbalanced chemical equations are also called as skeletal equations. So skeletal equations have to be balanced. And how it is balanced? This is, I have given one example, and the remaining examples you will get in my previous online class. So after this, let us come back to see different types of chemical reactions. We have already discussed what is a chemical reaction, what is chemical equation, and what is a balanced chemical equation, as well as what is a skeletal equation. But these chemical reactions or equations can be of different types. And what are the different types? Specifically, we will come to know about combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, and redox reactions. So let us start with the combination reaction. So what is combination reaction? It is actually a chemical reaction. Say for example, this is A, which is a particular chemical, and with that chemical another chemical is added. So here A is a chemical, it may be a chemical substance, and B is another chemical substance, and both these chemical substances are combining together. And as a result, what is happening? They are producing a new chemical, and that chemical is AB. So A and B are combining together in it, make it a new product, and that is AB. This type of chemical reactions will be called as combination reactions. Why? Because two reactants are combining together to make a single large product, and this type of chemical reactions are called as combination reaction. Let us take the example. Example, you can take it again. So hydrogen, here A is representing hydrogen and this is oxygen, and combining together to make it H2O, water. Can you see it very clearly? Hydrogen, which is A, oxygen, which is B, they are combining together to make it AB, that is water molecule. This type of chemical reactions are called as combination reaction. We can take more examples. For example, carbon is combining with oxygen and making it carbon dioxide. So this is the number 1 and this is number 2. So these two type of chemical reactions where 2 or 3 smaller chemicals are combining together to make a single large product. This type of chemical reactions are called as combination reaction. After combination reactions, we are coming to see the next one, and that is decomposition reaction. What is decomposition? Decomposition reaction will be completely opposite to the combination reaction. Here we will see, suppose AB is a particular chemical substance. AB, which is a big product or whatever it may be. This compound is now broken down to A plus B. So it is completely opposite. You can see the reverse of the combination process. In combination, we have seen A and B were combining to make it AB, but here we have seen that AB is broken down to A and B. This type of chemical reactions are called as decomposition reaction. So let us see example. Example we can see is that, say, CaCO3, that is calcium carbonate, limestone, CaCO3. Now this CaCO3, if you can heat it, if we apply heat on this product, calcium carbonate, extreme amount of heat is to be applied. And then what will happen? It will break down to calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. You can see this single product AB is broken down to CaO, A, and carbon dioxide is B. So calcium carbonate is broken down in presence of heat to produce calcium oxide, and carbon dioxide is an example of decomposition reaction. We can take more example. Say this is water molecule, H2O, water molecule. And if you can pass electric current, if we can pass electric current through this water molecule, then it will break down to H2 and O2. But in previous classes, we have got that hydrogen and oxygen are combining together to make a water molecule. But here we have seen that water molecule can be broken down to hydrogen and oxygen gas by passing electric current through water. And this type of chemical reactions are called as decomposition reaction. After decomposition reaction, let us come back to the third type, and that is called as displacement reaction. Displacement reaction. So this displacement reaction, we will see here, say AB is a particular chemical substance, and to this product we have added C, another one. AB is one chemical substance, and to this we have added C, and then after the chemical reaction is finished, we will say A plus BC. So what could you see here? A and B were together, but we can see A is alone and B has combined with C to produce BC. So what can we see? It means that C has displaced B. C has displaced B from AB, and as a result BC is produced. This type of chemical reactions are called as displacement reaction. Here one particular chemical compound or atom or a molecule is displacing another compound or atom or molecule from another product. This type of chemical reactions are displacement reactions. We will take example. The example we can take is that, suppose we are having zinc metal, and we have added it to copper sulfate solution, CuSO4. So just if I write it like this, it will be better. CuSO4 plus Zn. Here A, B is copper and sulfate. Here A is copper and B is sulfate. And C is zinc metal. Now if we combine these two, then what will happen? Definitely you will see it will produce copper plus ZnSO4. Copper plus ZnSO4. What can we see here? We have seen here that zinc metal has displaced the sulfate from copper sulfate. Zinc has displaced sulfate from copper sulfate, and as a result zinc and sulfate has combined together to produce zinc sulfate, and copper is reduced. Remember here this copper sulfate should be in aqueous condition. This is solid zinc. This is also solid copper, and that will be produced as aqueous zinc sulfate. This type of chemical reactions are called as displacement reaction. Now after this we are coming to see the double displacement reaction. So in double displacement reaction we will see here, suppose AB is one compound and we have added CD with them, AB plus CD, and then they will produce compounds like AC plus BD, AC plus BD. So what we can see, A and B were together, but where we have seen A and C are together, means C was here with D, but somehow from CD, C has gone to A and B has come to D, means they have mutually exchanged their position. So this type of chemical reactions are called as double displacement reaction. Why? Because we have seen here C has displaced B from AB, and at the same time B has displaced C from C. Mutually two elements, two atoms or two group ions are mutually exchanging their position. So this is double displacement reaction. So this type of chemical reactions are called as double displacement reaction. We have seen combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction. Finally, we are coming to see the redox reactions. Redox reactions. Remember, I have in my online class already has given so many examples of this type of chemical reactions. You please go back to that previous chapter, previous class I have taken online, and it will help you to understand it better. Since it is a quick revision for your examination, so I am not elaborately discussing these things. I am just refreshing all these things. The redox reactions. So what is redox reaction? So to understand that, first we have to understand what is oxidation reaction. Oxidation reaction. A chemical reaction is called as oxidation reaction. For your class 10 syllabus, oxidation is given as very simple. What is that? Whenever to any substance, maybe A, B, C, whatever it is, to this substance, if oxygen is added, A is a chemical, or if not A, B is another chemical, or C, D, whatever it is. But to A, B, C, D, whatever it may be, if to that particular substance oxygen is added, then you will get, suppose AO2, means what is happening to A, oxygen is added and is producing another compound AO2, and this type of chemical reactions are called as oxidation reaction. Examples, so many examples you can say. Hydrogen is combining with oxygen producing water, carbon combining with oxygen producing carbon dioxide. In both the chemical reactions we have seen oxygen is added to either hydrogen or carbon, and they are producing water or carbon dioxide. These type of chemical reactions are called as oxidation reaction. Similarly, you can see another one, and that is reduction reaction. So what is reduction reaction? Reduction is the removal of carbon, also of oxygen. So it was oxidation, but now coming to reduction. So in reduction, oxygen is to be removed. In oxidation, oxygen was added. Now the example we can take is, and to this copper oxide, if we add hydrogen gas, and then this mixture is to be heated. Now if we apply heat, then due to application of heat, a chemical reaction will occur, and this chemical reaction will result in the production of copper and water molecule. This is the chemical reaction. Now let us observe this chemical reaction. What is happening here to copper oxide? Earlier it was copper oxide, but now it has changed to copper. And here what can see, this is hydrogen earlier, but now it's becoming H2O. We can see very clearly. Now what is happening to copper oxide? From copper oxide, oxygen is removed. So this part is called as reduction. This part is reduction. Means copper oxide has undergone reduction and copper is produced. But what has happened to hydrogen? It was earlier hydrogen, but now produce water. It means to hydrogen, water is added. So that part will be called as oxidation. Oxidation. So we have seen here one chemical reactions, but in the same chemical reactions we can say one part of the chemical reaction has undergone reduction, but the other part has undergone oxidation. Such chemical reactions where both oxidation and reduction take place simultaneously, they are called as oxidation and reduction reaction. Oxidation and reduction reaction. But the name is very long. So from oxidation, we will be using only the two first letters OX, and from reduction we will be using the first three letters. So if we combine RED, red, and from oxidation, ox. If we combine them, will become redox. So this type of chemical reactions are also called as redox reactions. So what is the redox reactions? That was the point to discuss. Redox reaction, the chemical reactions in which both the oxidation and reduction take place simultaneously. They are called as redox reactions. After redox reactions, we are coming to see the two types of reactions, and they are exothermic and endothermic reactions. Now before that, the word we have to know is exo. Now what does the word exo? Exo means that is outer side, that is outside, you can say. Exo means outside. And another one similar, and that is endo. Endo means that is inside, outer, or it is, you can say this exo means outside, that is going out, is exo, and endo means coming into, and that will be called as endo. So endo is the internal side and exo is the outer side, external side. Now another word is here, exo and endo. To both exo and endo, one thing is added, and that is thermic. The word is the word therm, T-H-E-R-M, therm. Therm means heat. Therm, the word indicates heat. For example, thermometer, it is the instrument by which we can measure the heat. So therm means heat, and exo and endo means outer and inside, means the chemical reactions in which during the chemical reaction heat is generated, and that heat comes out of the chemical reaction, so you can feel it. This type of chemical reactions where heat is generated are called as exothermic, and there are some other chemical reactions in which heat is not generated, but inverse, what happens, heat is absorbed, therefore the temperature will become less than the original temperature. At the end of the chemical reaction, you will see the temperature will go below. This type of reactions are called as endothermic reactions. So exothermic and endothermic reactions definitions are the chemical reactions in which heat is generated, they are called as exothermic chemical reactions, and the endothermic chemical reactions are those in which the heat is absorbed. You can take examples. Example is that if you take carbon, carbon is an atom, and into this carbon atom, if you initially use oxygen, initially to start the chemical reaction, you will have to apply some heat, and once if you can apply heat, then it will produce carbon dioxide. But the answer to this is that at the end of the chemical reaction, there will be more heat generated. Whatever the heat you have utilized, that was very less, but at the end of the chemical reaction, you will see there will be more heat generated. So we can see this is a chemical reactions in which carbon and oxygen combines together, not only produces carbon dioxide gas, but at the end of the chemical reaction, heat is generated. Such chemical reactions are called as exothermic chemical reactions. For example, you can take C6H12O6. This is glucose molecule which is present inside our cell. After the food is being digested, then the glucose remains stored inside our cell, and into this cell, oxygen is carried by our blood. And what happens? This oxygen combines with glucose, means glucose is oxidized. And as a result, what is produced? 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water, and plus heat is generated. So for balancing, you have to give heat. So this is another chemical reactions where you can see glucose is combining with 6 molecules of oxygen, producing 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water, and finally at the end there will be heat generated. So this type of all chemical reactions are called as exothermic chemical reactions. And endothermic chemical reactions will be completely opposite, where heat is not generated. What happens? Heat is absorbed. And you can say, for example, carbon when is combined with sulfur, then it produces CuS2, carbon disulfide. In this chemical reaction, heat is not generated, but heat is absorbed. So I have given minus it. So this type of chemical reactions are called as endothermic chemical reactions. So these are the different types of reactions we have seen so far up to endothermic reactions. We are coming to see last is corrosion. Now what is corrosion? We have already discussed it. This is nothing but rusting. There are metals, they are very reactive, and most of the metals, what happens, most of the metals, they can quickly react with environmental oxygen, and that is air, or even water, or not maybe water, but the moisture present in the atmosphere. And if they combine with either air or water or moisture, then metal does not remain as metal, but what happens? A layer of compound, a layer of a new compound is formed. A layer of new compound is formed. Where? Over the metal. It means originally it was metal, but this metal being it is reactive, what happens? This metal is coming in contact with air where there is oxygen. If not air, it may come directly in contact with water, or it may not directly come in contact with water, but it may come in contact with the water vapor present in the air. And then these things will start reacting with metal. As a result, metal will start producing some other compound, and all this compound will remain as a layer over the original metal. It means the metal has undergone corrosion, rusting. So this is a very common example. If we take iron, if you take an iron nail, if you just bring an iron nail from the market fresh, just keep it in open place for a few days, and after a few days you will see the shining of the new nail has been lost and it has turned brown or blackish, and you can see also the deposition of a brown layer of coating over the iron nail, and that coating is nothing but rusting or rust. And this process in chemistry we call as what? Corrosion. So corrosion is always a harmful process, because due to corrosion what happens? The metals, they are corroded. For example, iron objects, they easily undergo corrosion. So this is harmful because we use iron in construction of houses, in construction of bridges, in construction of different mechanical tools and all. Due to continuous contact of these metals with air, water or atmospheric vapor, these metals undergo corrosion. And therefore, we have to think certain ways to protect this corrosion process. But how can we apply? So how can we apply certain methods to improve this situation, means to stop corrosion? The answer is we can do a lot of things. And what is that? We have to polish the metallic surface regularly, so that we do not give any chance to get these things deposited over it. Second important thing, we can apply a layer of grease or oil over the metal surface. Third is we can also apply a layer of paint over the metal. And finally by galvanization. So coming to the last point, and that is rancidity. So what rancidity is? Rancidity is also a kind of chemical reaction. What happens here? The food items which are specially cooked in oils. The food item which is cooked in oils, they can easily react with atmospheric oxygen, and as a result what happens? The food item which are cooked in oil, they are spoiled. And as a result of spoiling, there will be change of taste of the food. There may be change in the smell of the food, and there may be change in the color of the food. The food items which were cooked in oil, if it comes in contact with oxygen, then the oxygen will start reacting with the oil present in the food, and as a result the taste, smell and color of the food will change, and as a result the food remains, that is, unfit for consuming. This process is called as rancidity. So rancidity can be prevented. How? If we can cut the supply of oxygen. That means if we do not allow the oxygen to come in contact with the oil present in the food, then this process will stop. Means the rancidity can be stopped. For example, how the scientists do it? Instead of oxygen, they can use nitrogen. Because if nitrogen comes in contact with the oil present in the food, the nitrogen cannot change the taste, smell or color of the food. This is why the chips packet, this is always filled with nitrogen gas. Remember, these chips, means the potato chips, were cooked in oil. They are packet, and inside the packet nitrogen is filled, and this nitrogen does not allow the oxygen to come in contact with the chips, and therefore the chips remain fresh for a long time. So this type of compounds like nitrogen, which can cut the supply of oxygen and keeps the food items good in condition for a long time, they are called as antioxidants. So these were the things in this chapter, chemical reactions and equations. I hope this revision will help you to understand this chapter. Thank you.